This week on Techopia Live, we're tackling one of the biggest problems that comes out of the conveniences of the internet. Integrating remote workers and third parties into your companies can be a logistical nightmare, and if there's sensitive information to protect, well, then you've got security issues. It's Ottawa's Pythian that's tackling this problem with a new business unit. Plus, our sponsor Numbercrunch is here to give us the financial background. That's today on Techopia Live. Hi everybody, welcome to Techopia Live. We are back in Invest Ottawa in the accelerator space, and this week we've got a fantastic guest. We're talking to Tehama, a new business unit out of Pythian that's helping companies to integrate their remote workers safely, quickly, and securely. But first, I want to introduce you to our sponsor. Susan Richards is here from Numbercrunch. She's also the chair of Invest Ottawa, so a very fitting setting for her. Welcome to the show, Susan. Can you introduce yourself briefly for the audience and what Numbercrunch does for tech firms in the city?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the introduction. So as you mentioned, I am now the chair of Invest Ottawa. Very proud and happy to be here in this physical building today where a lot of great technology collisions happen every day. At Numbercrunch, we're helping tech entrepreneurs as well as other businesses that are interested in accelerating their growth by providing them with CFO services on demand. So we round out that founder team with a CFO expertise and also controller and bookkeeper. So we can help organizations as they scale up with having the right financial support at the right time for a value-based price.
That's awesome, and we'll check in a little bit later after we introduce our editorial guest today. Jean Villeneuve, you're here, the Senior Vice President of Tehama, a new business unit at Pythian. Could you tell us a bit, first, what is the problem that Tehama is solving?
Great. Well, good afternoon, Craig and Susan. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's a real privilege of mine to share with you the story of Tehama and the market problems that we're addressing with Tehama. I think you encapsulated it extremely well in your very articulate opening to the session around the business problem that the organizations have today, any large-scale organization or even small-scale organization, with the drive to the contingent workforce, a strategic IT outsourcing strategy or a gig economy strategy, where they need to invariably remain agile because they have to respond very quickly to market demands to quickly accelerate their own businesses. Yet, because a lot of these organizations are also dealing with very strong compliance and regulatory issues, like for instance SOC 2 Type 2, FIPS, GDPR, HIPAA compliance, they need to ensure that whomever they bring into that perimeter to work on mission-critical, data-sensitive applications, that they need to extend that security perimeter and that perimeter of trust to everybody that they bring in this workforce ecosystem. So the problem that we're solving in the market today is around how do we ensure organizations can remain agile and access this global talent pool, yet still remain secure and reduce the threat services as a result of engaging this international global contingent workforce ecosystem.
Yeah, that's excellent. And before we jump a little bit further into the financials of Tehama with Susan, I'm curious a little bit about yourself, Jean. You were with Cognos and IBM for a number of years before making the jump earlier this year to Tehama. What drew you to this company as it's just getting off the ground now?
Great. Excellent question. I'm graduated from university in 1994, business commerce or Bachelor of Commerce degree from the University of Ottawa here in Ottawa. So, hometown boy. However, I haven't always lived in Ottawa. I had two opportunities to live overseas. Once, and both in Paris, France, which is great. And we came back last year. But I joined Cognos in 1994. had a phenomenal opportunity with them, was with them in a bunch of different roles until 1999. And then I didn't do the startup. I joined a startup that was then acquired by a French company, which was the number one competitor to Cognos at the time, called Business Objects. I got an opportunity to move to France, and I was there off and on from 2000 until 2006. I came back to Canada and joined Cognos right before they were acquired by IBM. I was with IBM for several years, and also went and did a stint running sales for a division of IBM in Europe. Then we moved back to Canada last year, and in my final role with IBM, I was running a global services practice around financial crimes, or stopping and preventing and catching bad guys around financial crimes. So anti-money laundering, credit card fraud, anti-fraud, and using artificial intelligence for it. But I learned a lot and started to appreciate the challenges with managing a global services organization and delivering services, and the challenges with respect to resources and resource allocation and trading off the resources and getting access to that talent pool, as well as how do we onboard our services folks to work with our large-scale financial services customers. And there are lots of problems. And then when Paul Vallet, who's the CEO, founder of Pythian, found out I was back in Canada, he's like, look, Gene, I really need to talk to you. We got this exciting capability called Tehama. And it's pre kind of launch. It's a minimum viable product. We brought it to market in September. This was in December of last year that we were chatting, but it was September of last year they brought it to market. And by then they'd already onboarded, I think, 30 or 40 customers onto the platform. And he said, look, it's a game changer for us. And if you go back to the history of Pythian, Paul is a great visionary, very clairvoyant. So back in the early 2000s, his model was he's going to hire the top talent, no matter where they are in the globe, and they're going to have a work-from-home model to deliver services to large-scale organizations across the globe. Well, the problem for him to grow his business was that these large organizations were saying, well, I need to ship you guys laptops because I can't trust them because they're working on their own devices, or they need to come here and work on site so I could watch them. So Paul said, this is going to be a challenge for me because I need to hire the best people in the world because that's how I differentiate myself. I hire the best talent no matter where they are. So he had to create something that would create this layer that enhances his security posture so that he could very clearly deliver these services, and be more efficient in delivering the services by having these people dispersed globally, but yet still bid on these contracts, win these contracts, and at the same time enhance his overall security posture. So come 12 years later, 2018, he saw, and the team saw, an opportunity to take the same capability and bring it to market, not just for Pythian services, but for other services and other buyer organizations to benefit from the same capability. So enter Tehama. And Tehama was not really launched until our launch 2 weeks ago. So we've been in a pre-release, private release phase up until 2 weeks ago. Actually, it's 2 weeks ago today, we did our major launch in New York City. And we had over 100 people online on the live stream, and we had 60, 70 people in the room, which is great. And it's all about creating the legitimacy around the product, getting the message out there that the product is now available, prime time. And we've by the way, been working with a number of lead customers and anchor partners to really harden that capability. So now it's September, almost the end of September 2018. The product is now it's a minimum sellable product, so it's an MSP, not to be confused with managed service providers. But we're really thrilled about what we have, and our pipeline is just amazing. We've got some really large-scale financial services organizations and some other really interesting companies that are looking at retooling their entire platform as to how they deliver services and their digital services to their customers across the globe. And we're also getting a lot of attention from Amazon and the Amazon Workspaces team. I just actually flew a red-eye flight last night to be back here. So my wife woke me up this morning at 10:30 saying, you got to get ready, you got to go. So I had an hour's sleep this morning, but really happy to be here. But yeah, yesterday we spent a day with the Amazon team, and they're really thrilled about what we're doing, and they want to help us showcase the solution as well. So I think we're just at the very beginning, and by having Tehama as a separate unit, it gives us the ability to position ourselves differently, a different brand, a different identity. And then the other positive of it being a separate organization within the Pythian overall umbrella is that we've got these Chinese walls between ourselves and Pythian, which has helped us work with Deloitte to achieve what's called our SOC 2 Type 2 level compliance and certification.
And that's something
Yeah. So let me.
If we get Susan, yeah, no, but you, it was the perfect segue because that's exactly why we brought Susan here, is to talk about from a financial perspective. Why would a company like Pythian do this? Launch a separate business unit to bring this product to market.
Excellent questions, and I love the passion here. I can really feel it, and lots to talk about. So certainly having a new division with this from a marketing and branding standpoint, there's obviously some benefits there, but also structurally there can be some great benefits to an organization from a funding standpoint. So Pythian, who is a traditional service company, there's a lot of companies out there right now that had a traditional service model and are now launching SaaS products or SaaS business model. SaaS is very sexy right now. It presents to investors investment opportunities that generate the types of returns that can really get investors excited and interested. And I also think you touched, it's great that with respect to the SOC 2 compliance, so there's a number of companies here in Ottawa that would have SOC 2 compliance probably on their list of things to do. It's their technology needs to be there, needs to have this compliance in order to work with major partners in a lot of cases. So as a business is trying to scale, it's an innovation that they, from a security standpoint, that will enable them to work with large-scale companies. And my understanding is not only did having it separated from Pythian allowed you to be able to do that efficiently, but you now have a product that companies can partner in with in order to expedite and speed up their SOC 2 compliance. So that's both of interest to your organization as well as some of the companies that would be watching today and how they may not have understood how this organization could benefit them as well as the large companies that you're going after.
And we're running out of time, but before we let you go, there's one quick question I wanted to ask you. But you mentioned that you just launched 2 weeks ago in New York. I'm curious about why a New York launch, and maybe share a little bit about your go-to-market strategy. Well, how are you marketing this product to companies around the world?
Okay, great question. The reason why we chose New York is that New York is the heart of the financial services capital. I mean, every major worldwide bank or financial services organization has a center of gravity in New York. And by launching the Tehama capability in New York, we're sending a message to the market that with our SOC 2 Type 2 compliance, GDPR, FIPS, everything else, that we're ready for that market. And the other interesting thing is that New York, the state of New York, is the first state that we're aware of that has actually launched a law, a regulatory compliance law, that for all covered entities, so anybody who's a financial services business, that they need to have a well-defined cybersecurity policy with not just a policy on paper, but actually physically implemented software-defined ways of controlling third-party service providers. And Tehama is an excellent vehicle to help these financial services companies become compliant with this law for third-party services providers that has to be there by March 1st, 2019. So we want to get that out. So our go-to-market is sort of twofold. We're looking for a network effect. So the platform has buyers who could buy the platform and then onboard services providers, or you've got services providers, they're sellers of services, who could use the platform to differentiate themselves and become compliant. So that's our strategy right now. We're targeting first the enterprise financial services, and then we're also targeting the MSPs, the managed service providers that are in the financial services category. So we want to create this ecosystem of buyers and sellers in order to create this network effect. Because, for instance, if I sell to a big bank in Canada and they force a GSI to use the platform, that GSI says, well, this is really cool. I'm going to use the platform from the next bank. So that becomes that network effect for us. So it's just the beginning. It's really exciting.
Awesome. Yeah, we can't wait to hear how it spreads. It's really interesting. Thank you for sharing the kind of how Pythian's history as an international company really led to this kind of natural Tehama launch and where that product comes from. So it's great, Gene. Thank you so much for joining us today. Obviously, this was a great conversation, and we're excited to see where Tehama will spread next. Of course, I also want to take the time to thank Susan from Numbercrunch. If people are trying to get a hold of you, get a hold of Numbercrunch services, what's the best way to get in touch?
They're certainly welcome to email me at susan@numbercrunch.ca, connect on LinkedIn or other forms of social media as well. Happy to chat with anybody, any entrepreneur. I love business, so it's just fun for a sporty conversation over a latte.
Take her up on the latte. Yeah, and before I let everyone go, I want to take a minute to thank some of our other Techopia champions, without whom this show wouldn't be possible. There's Perley-Robertson, Hill and McDougall, a leader in business and tech law. There's TD Bank, which is providing specialized services for tech firms. There's the University of Ottawa Engineering, which is building the next generation of technical talent, and Stratford Managers, which is offering services to scale up your tech venture. And of course, we had Susan today from Numbercrunch offering virtual CFO services to SaaS firms. Obviously, this Techopia is not just this fabulous show. We are also available on techopia.ca with daily articles. You can sign up for our e-newsletter there at techopia.email. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter at TechopiaOTT. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications. We would love to hear from you. If you have a relevant story to share about maybe a remote worker nightmare gone bad, we'd love to hear it and share it with our audience there. But apart from that, I just want to thank you again for joining us. We'll see you again next week for Techopia Live. Bye-bye.